Hey everyone, welcome back to GT Girls Garage. I am Junkyard Jenny, and today I'm here with Aryn Davy. How are ya?
Davy, yeah. No worries. I'm Aryn. First time hosting the show with Jenny here. Originally, I actually grew up not too far from Jenny in Boulder, Colorado. I've been into Datsuns my whole life. Dad raised me on them. It's what we're here for. Now living in the great Pacific Northwest of Washington State and without my Datsun, and it makes me very sad. But
where is your Datsun?
It's back in Colorado. At my dad's. I don't have a garage up here, and I ain't parking it out on the street, so keep it safe.
I get that. What do you got? 510 Z car? What you got?
510 wagon is mine, and then throughout the family, we've got a couple of wagons, 4-door. Couple of 620 pickups, and then we've got the NSX, a Volvo, a Scout. We've got a whole list of cars. A Mustang.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Most common, but there's a sprinkling of other stuff in there. So
right on, cool. Well, tonight we are sponsored by Donuts and Wheels. You can reach them on Instagram at Donuts and Wheels. Their website, donutsandwheels.com. Also, Zociety, and that is at Zociety, ZOCIETY_. Their website is zociety.org. Also, GripRad, I can't talk tonight, at GripRad, and their website is griprad.com. And then Simtec Motorsports at Simtec Motorsports. Their website is simtecmotorsports.com. So there you have it. Let's see here. What do we got going on tonight? We have a couple special guests tonight, Ashley and Troy Ermish. I'd like to bring those guys in here and give a little shout out to them, see what they're up to.
Hey guys.
Welcome. Good.
Thanks for having us on the show. I gotta adjust this. There we go. How are you? Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Oh my God. It's all new to me. It's my first time doing a podcast.
Well,
yeah.
Welcome.
Video podcast. Yeah. Troy's here too.
Well, I guess we should probably figure out. So Ashley and Troy, is Troy with you?
Yeah, Troy's right here.
Okay. What do you guys do? What's your gig?
Can we get in there? You got it? Oh my gosh. Hold on. I got to push this thing back. There we go. Now
that's better.
There we go. Got it? Can you tell a little bit about the shop?
Yeah, well, we have a Datsun shop. I started actually quite a long time ago, back in the 90s, before actually Ashley and I got together, and then it's kind of blossomed into a really good business. And Ashley works full time. I think probably for about the last 7 years or so, full time, helping run the back side of the shop, takes care of all the shipping and receiving and ordering and paying bills, and I try to take care of the stuff in the shop and making parts and working on cars, and I have one employee. So it's been a good business. So we're really happy it kind of fell into it, started racing them, and it's worked out really well for us.
Yeah.
Do you guys do all kinds of different Datsuns or just anything specific?
No, specialized just in 510s. Occasionally I'll bring a Z240Z in just on occasion, and those are for some clients that I've already had, and typically it's going to be kind of a race car deal only.
Yeah.
But just stick to 510s. I really don't have any competition in the United States as far as being strictly 510. There are guys out there that do other Datsun makes and models, and they'll mix in a 510. But for me to be specific about 510, I think that's key for our success.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm strictly Z car myself over here, and I try to even stay away from the ZXs. I try to stay 70 to 78, so I know how that goes. I did just dismantle though a Honda Civic a couple weeks ago, so that was kind of an odd one for me. It was free.
Yeah, mix it a little bit. So that way you know how much better engineered a Datsun was. Every once in a while you have to work on something that you don't like as well. And like, now I know why I only work on Datsuns.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. So you guys race too. What kind of circuit you running?
I have 3 cars that I normally run. I have a historical vintage Datsun 510 that I only take out a couple of times. I built it specifically to run the Monterey Historics Rolex reunion event, and I've run it just once a year, just so that it doesn't sit, parts go bad. Then I have my standard vintage car that I've been running for 15 years, and then I have a Nissan 350Z, but it's a tube chassis, race specific, not street car, full tube chassis, carbon fiber body, and it actually runs a K24. Rebello builds all of our stuff, all of our race engines, and in that particular car, that's a 300 horsepower NA restricted. It'd make more than that, but they restrict it down, so it makes 300 horsepower on race gas, and that's what I run normally. There's a race this weekend. I decided not to go to that, so we'll be doing a little traveling, Seattle, Portland, and then a couple more races. So my season will start in 4 weeks.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I wish I could say that. Mine doesn't start for at least 4 more months.
Oh my gosh.
Although I did get my schedule. 2 pages this year.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Troy's
What do
from
you
Washington, too.
Huh?
Aaron's from Washington. Troy's from Washington State too.
Yeah. Well, I live here now. I'm originally from Colorado, but I live over in Spokane. So
Okay.
the Datsun scene is a little lacking out here. I have a few friends with them, but it's not nearly as robust as Seattle kind of coast area or back in Colorado even. So it's not too bad, but not great.
We're lucky. Yeah, well, we're lucky here, California. Rebello Racing, who's kind of world renowned in, at least the United States, pretty well known guy for building Datsun engines and kind of helping maintain the lust for Datsuns. I mean, the guy's been building great engines. He's only 40 minutes from my place, and in Northern California, I think Datsun scene is probably as big as it is anywhere in the country.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I mean, my brother just moved down to that area and they're everywhere. I mean, my dad has a shop in Boulder and a lot of his parts he gets out from California. All the bits and pieces are shipping out from there pretty much. So he does a lot of Datsun work, but a lot of other stuff too. So a lot of alphas.
Yeah. It's funny.
He charges extra for the alphas, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly. I just had a customer ship a alpha from Argentina.
Yup.
It's super rare, all aluminum bodied GTA. So we're just going to do a little bit of brake work and suspension work. It's so valuable. There's only 500 of them made in 67. So I'm just going to do a little bit of suspension and brake upgrades, and then he's going to run that here in the United States for 2 years, and then they make him ship it back.
That's awesome. Yeah, my dad actually recently had somebody ship. There was an R32 that he had shipped recently to him to work on, and then he had a Hakusuka sent to him, I believe, from Canada, because he was having issues with the carbs on it. And everybody, my dad's well known on Rotson forum and everything. Everybody says go to Alex if you need this kind of stuff, which is awesome. But I had it shipped to him to figure out the carbs on it, and it sat there for about 2 months before he got it all figured out.
Yeah,
where did you find parts for those things? I mean, difficult.
It was a pain in the ass for him because it was just one of those things. It's the Edelbrock carbs are not the Edelbrocks. Can't remember. Yeah. And he doesn't usually work with those. We usually run other ones, but he, it took him a little bit to get it figured out. They were just gummed up and needed rebuilt, and he was having a hard time finding parts, but got it figured out eventually.
Yeah, I can imagine it's got to be really hard to find parts for that kind of stuff. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we have a car that was shipped up from LA. It's '74 Skyline or '75. So it's I guess they call it a Ken Mary.
Yep.
And the original owner of that one, he had taken all the carburetors off of it, and he went to individual throttle body. So we're just doing same thing. We're just going to do some brake work and some suspension work, and it's so hard to find one of those that aren't all rusty. This car, you have perfect pans. It's in really good shape. But the suspension was kind of a little rusty wherever it got chipped from driving around on the road, had a lot of rust. So we pulled all the suspension out, media blasted it, and then we're going to powder coat it. And then she sends all the hardware out to a company that does a CAD plating. So we'll get all the hardware CAD plated, so it'll look all brand new, and then we'll bolt it back in there. And I think my customer has it sold to another one of my customers. Pretty valuable cars. I think they agreed somewhere around $100,000 for that car.
Whew.
Yeah, big money.
I wish.
That's really cool. Right on. I had the opportunity to race a '74 Skyline over the summer, and that was a friggin' blast. That car was, well, it's not really the only thing Skyline about it anymore is the body, but it was, it's a built drag car, but the guy who owns it, Brandon, he kept true to it and kept it right-hand drive, which I'll tell you, drag racing a right-hand drive car is really weird. But it was a learning experience, and it was fun. And I just love the Skyline. I love the shape of it. What a great car that thing was. So wonderful. I wish I could have it back.
He drag raced his Bluebird. And so it was always so much fun because we go out to the track and all these guys want the right lane. And he's like, I'll take the left lane.
Yeah.
Right-hand drive. It's easier for him.
Yeah.
But that was always fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we always do like a kind of like a live stream when we're drag racing, and the car doesn't have really good seals. So after I do my burnout, I have to open both of the doors. And the guy who was filming was on technically the driver's side of the car. And so when we opened up that side door, he's like, "Oh, look, there's no driver. No, she's in there. She's just on the other side."
Get a lot of double takes. I
Yeah.
haven't driven mine very much, but you get a lot of thumbs up and double takes when you're driving down the road.
Oh yeah.
When you get pulled over and then the officer comes to my side, I'm like, no, he's driving.
That did happen.
That did happen. That's true.
Yep, gotta love those things.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, old cars, new cars. What do you guys think about new cars that are coming out with retro styling? Like I know obviously we've got the new Z. I'm trying to think of what other kind of new cars are coming out. I just saw earlier. Huh?
The new Supra came out.
Yeah.
God, all the new reboots. They're redoing a lot of them, and I don't know, man. It's throwing me off. I love it and I hate it at the same time because they're never gonna look as good as they did back in the day just because of all the regulations that they have to do now. But they're so much faster, so it's kind of almost worth it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I like some of the stylings of some of them. I remember when the Chevrolet brought out their SSR, and I thought that was the coolest thing for about a week. And then I was like, wow, this thing is not good. But I've got a friend of mine who's got one, and every once in a while I'll still kind of eyeball it, like, that's kind of cool. I don't know. I just saw like a rendering of a CRX.
Yeah.
It's not getting a lot of good press. I think the new.
Is it?
I think it's maybe. I don't know if it's a CRX or if it's the Integra. I think they're trying to reboot the Integra, and it's getting. A lot of guys don't like the styling. It's just like a massive car. It's like as big as a Honda Accord. It's
really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Z car in person. I've only seen renderings at first, and then now some of the pictures that have come out. And I've seen the Supra. A buddy of ours has one, and I mean, I think they look good. They're fast.
Yeah.
Something that you can afford, and nothing, it's not over $100,000, and you can actually drive it on the road and not have to worry.
Yeah, it's like the new NSX is awesome. It's a way cool car, but it's just so expensive. And it's, I mean, you can't drive it regularly, but for something, like the new Supra, like I have a buddy who has one down in Colorado Springs, and he loves it. I mean, it's definitely not his daily, but it's fun to drive for him.
Yeah. What is the price range of the new Z? I don't even know.
Have they said, is it supposed to be in the high 30s or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So they can make it somewhat affordable, but I think when you go to buy a car like that, you don't go buy the base model. You buy
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Gotta have everything. So,
And then it's like 10 to 15 grand on top of that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but from some of the guys we've talked to, they really like it. And like you said, some people like it, some people, they're just like not into it.
I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, I did get to see it up close at ZCon back in August.
Oh yeah.
And I like it. I think it's pretty cool. My problem is I need a truck. You know, I mean, I'd love to buy a new car, but if I'm going to buy anything new, I have to buy a truck. I tow a lot, and I can't tow with a newsie.
No,
Or
and
an
even then, you're talking a new truck. You're spending a pretty penny on that too. I mean, I can't believe how expensive.
I mean, the
trucks
new Ford Broncos are so expensive. I mean, they're cool. It's a really cool idea, but they're just obscenely priced for what they are, I think. It's just obscene to me.
Yeah.
But well, they have that baby Bronco too, don't they? Is that one like a little bit more affordable?
A little bit, I think, but I don't know that it's really much better.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like when the FJ Cruiser came out. I mean, even now you can't touch a used one of those for probably under what, 40 anymore?
I never even see those on the road.
I see them occasionally. I mean, but it's been a while. But I remember when they were new, it was like, oh man, I couldn't even touch that. And I loved them. I thought they were really neat. I kind of still do. Still do like them.
The colors are cool. Toyota, or is this a Toyota, right? And Toyota,
Yeah, the Toyota FJ. They have great colors. They have very
Retro colors.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
vintage.
Yeah. I saw a Jeep Renegade the other day, and I thought that one was actually kind of cool. But I've always kind of had a soft spot for Jeeps. I don't know why. I mean, my mom owned them when we were little. I don't think I've had one since I was probably 7 or 8 years old. But I mean, those things were kind of cool. So I've got a little soft spot for the Jeeps. But again, probably won't buy one. I mean, it can't tow.
It's crazy that any of the cool cars, things that you want, it seems like it's like a $10,000 surcharge just because it's cool. So you look at that Jeep and you want to upgrade and you want to look at that Rubicon. Oh, that thing's insane. But also, I don't know why people would buy a $40,000 or $50,000 off-road vehicle and then never take it off-road.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, even the Forerunners, like the Forerunners new off the lot are so expensive, you know, $40K, pushing 50 for all the bells and whistles. But even getting
I love those.
I mean, I love them. They're solid cars. They'll run for 300,000 plus miles. But even getting one used, it's like,
no, you can't.
They're so expensive. I have a buddy who bought an 04 for, I think he paid $14K for it. And it like with 150,000 miles on it. It's like, no, I paid $35 for my Datsun. Like, not a chance. Like, I got lucky and I actually just found one in Colorado, a Forerunner that, of course, it's a buddy of my dad's. So we picked that up for about half the price he could have gotten it for, but it has 250,000 miles on it. So, and it needs some work, but it's half the price of what it would normally go for. So can't say no.
Yeah, that's for sure. Man, those old 84 to 88 Forerunners, those are, I guess, 84 to 89. Sorry, I'm like trying to remember what the interchange is. It's been a long time, but those things were cool. You can't find those anywhere anymore.
Yeah, the Christians, they were awesome.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. They were so cool.
I think that's those and the Toyota, like the shore bed trucks, those are like the rock crawlers.
Oh,
Paradise vehicles there.
The early Tacomas, yeah.
That's everybody.
Yeah, I actually had a couple of those. I had a 79 Tacoma that was, it was bad back when I was in high school. It was lowered and it had fuel relay issues, constantly dying on me. I loved it, but I just got to the point where I had to sell it. And then it purchased an 89 Toyota pickup from a buddy, and that thing ran for me great. And then I traded it for a Civic because I needed better gas mileage.
Yeah. That's actually my first new vehicle. I've only bought 2 new vehicles ever.
Yeah.
The first new vehicle I bought was, I think it's 80. It was right after I got out of high school. It's like an 86 extended cab SR5. And of course, in the 80s, mini trucks were cool. So I lowered it, and all my buddies, we all had lowered mini trucks. And then
I still think it's cool. I mean,
it's making a comeback. It looks like everything to make full circle. It seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
I had an 88 extended cab long bed, 2-wheel drive, tack dash. I loved that stupid truck.
It had
I
a
mean,
22 RE in it. They just
Yeah.
run forever.
yep, a little 5-speed. I mean, so that's what I was delivering parts in when I met your dad.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I had
Yeah.
2 of them. I had one that was dark brown. I don't think that one was extended cab though. But then we got a tan one that was extended cab, long bed. And I mean, that thing, I mean, I drove both of them to over 400,000 miles, both of them.
Oh my gosh.
That's
It just
good
lasts
mileage.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's certain
Mine was tan
cars
as
like
well.
that just last forever, like withstand kind of the test of time. It's those and Civics and all that kind of stuff are just,
Yeah.
I mean, Civics are, you know, you look at the 90s Civics and yeah, they're just kind of junk, but like they'll run forever. You can't blow them up. Like, trust me, I've tried.
I had no cool cars growing up. No. A Honda Accord, a Dodge Neon, and I had the Jeep. I did have a Jeep Grand Cherokee for a little while, but
I mean,
no
the
cool
Honda
cars.
Accord is so cool. My dad still daily drives the Honda Accord wagon. It's he's actually pulling the motor out of it this weekend to rebuild it. So it's got
Is it the 93? Like
No,
93?
it's the 96, and my brother has the 97 version of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're
I didn't know.
classic
I got the grand idea that it would be amazing for me to go to CarMax, get $1,000 for my Honda because it had a fuel pump issue, and then my grandmother's next door neighbor was selling this old Pontiac. I think it was like a 6000 SE or something like that.
Oh,
It had
yeah.
a big bench seat, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to get this so I can fit all my friends in it. Man, that thing was just, it was awful. The worst
Oh my
decision
God.
I ever made. But yeah, so that was my cool ride.
It's a
Right on.
rusty Datsun 620 pickup to school every day. It was more rust than metal, but rust is lighter than carbon fiber, so
Hey, there you
I was
go.
just going to say that.
but it still has that truck. I don't know what he's doing with it. He needs to get rid of it. He needs to smash it, but whatever.
Is his shop still in the same place it was?
Yeah, North Broadway. Yeah,
I should just see him. I should go bother him one day and just say hi. I mean,
he's been there for 30 years now. So
yeah. It's been probably, oh my gosh, I would say probably 20 years.
yeah,
since we've been up in that area.
yeah, because you used to work at Blake's, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I was actually just out there last weekend. Walking through our garage, it was, down at the shop helping my dad do the car shuffle, and then up at the house we've got the 8-car garage, and I'm just looking around and I'm like looking at all these Datsuns and all the nice cars, the NSX, and I'm like, I really wish it wasn't winter time. I could take The nice part about Cali, is you can drive year round.
Yeah, it is nice, especially having, drier weather. I mean, we still get rain in the winter, obviously, but well, we don't really even drive our cars, but by the time the days ended, the last thing he wants to do is work on my car for one. And then his car when he drives it, he gets a ticket. So it just sits in the garage.
I did get
I
one.
don't think that's a problem with the car. I think that's with the driver.
I'm like, babe, we haven't driven that thing forever. Let's just take it out. We'll go. I don't even know if it was a car show or something down in the Bay Area over the Altamont. And he gets all crazy. And I don't know, he crossed over a couple lanes and speeding, and it was a pretty hefty ticket.
She did driver school for me, so it was no damage.
So there in California, do you guys have to have like a winter car and a summer car kind of thing?
Nope.
Okay. I was just curious because I kind of have sort of like my winter cars. It's my truck, but I use it. I use it all year round, but in the wintertime, it's like I literally need the 4-wheel drive to get out of my driveway.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Where are you at?
I'm in Colorado. I'm in central Colorado.
Oh, wow.
So, but we just bought a property and it's kind of like barren. There's not a whole lot on it. So when it snows, it gets really muddy, really slippery. And then you kind of have to go a little bit uphill to get out of the driveway. And especially like first thing in the morning, it's kind of iced over and the truck just sits there and spins. So I have to put it in 4-wheel drive to get out of the driveway.
Today was nice. Yeah, today was nice. It was I think it was the low 60s today.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow.
It hasn't rained in a week. We did get quite a bit of rain a couple weeks ago, but It's fine. It's good. We don't just have one car.
Good enough to golf.
Right on.
Right? You don't have to golf or drive the cars around, but
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. That's cool. Yeah, I only bring my Datsun out in the summertime. I mean, it's so stupid. I don't even know. It's like I've never let that car get wet. I mean, not since I've owned it, that's for sure. It doesn't get wet. It does not see wintertime roads. In Colorado, though, like it literally, so we had snow about maybe a week ago. And before that, we hadn't had any precipitation since July. So that was really kind of a bummer, but it did give me the opportunity to drive the Datsun a little bit further. Usually I put it away in October, but I was actually able to drive it all the way up until the beginning of December, which was awesome. So
yeah, it snowed right just in time for me to come out and not get to drive anything. So
oh, figures. Were you just out here just recently then?
Yeah, just last weekend. So it was a quick turnaround trip, just the 3 days. I was really hoping the snow would hold off so I could take something out. But, my Datsun's still sitting in the garage, but I think it might need the engine pulled again. I think one of the piston rings broke on the motor. It's just smoking like a train. It's horrible right now. And I mean, I rebuilt that motor 4 or 5 years ago. Well, longer than that. 5 or 6 years ago, but it's it's a project car. It's consistently under construction, but it doesn't get driven very often. So of course, you start it up, smokes a little bit, as most Datsuns do. At least most of my dad's Datsuns, most of our Datsuns. But it's just not getting any better. So I think one of the piston rings cracked in it, which sucks. But at least it's got the cast iron head on it, so I know it's not gonna blow.
That's cool. Right on. And how did you get in, Aryn? How did you get into cars, like in general? Like, do you like to wrench on them? Do you want to? Do you?
Yeah. So I mean, growing up with my dad, he'd pick us up from school and we'd go back to a shop because he always had work to do, owning his own place there. And I mean, just kind of always into it, just growing up around it. We'd go out to the tracks, whether it's High Plains or down south, PPIR, anything down there, do track days, take the NSX out, or, one of my dad's 4-door, we call it the purple car. It's not actually purple, but take that out, go whip around in those, and just kind of grew up around it. Didn't really get into it, too bad until about high school, and just ended up with a group of friends that we were all car junkies. So my 16th birthday, my dad gave me the green wagon that I've got now. He bought it for $35 from Rocky Mountain Shambhala Center. And it had originally the SSS motor in it because the shell got shipped to the dealership in Boulder, and then they put the SSS motor in it.
Nice.
Built it there, which was awesome. He gave the SSS motor to one of his friends, so it was sitting there without a motor in the garage for 20 years, which sucked. But basically, he told me, he's like, hey, this is your car if you put in the work on it. He's like, we've got all the parts in the garage, we've got everything ready to go. So you put in the work tearing it down. He's like, I'll put in some of the money and help you out with the parts. So that was kind of just my introduction into working on it. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that car. But she's my baby, that's for sure. And then it's just kind of escalated from there. Always been around cars with friends and family and going to car shows. I've dragged my dad out to a lot of car shows over the years, and he's definitely not into the whole function form debate. He does not believe in stanced cars or anything. Did not like a lot of my friends' cars back in high school, which I understand, but he got over it. There were some cool builds at some of the shows that he enjoyed seeing. So it's always just kind of been a family affair for us.
That's awesome. And it's kind of nice too, being able to like change your own oil.
Oh my God, I know. It's funny because some of my friends and everything, some of my friends are definitely very much car people. And then I've moved out here. And of course, I'm not driving around in my Datsun. So I've just got my daily and everything. And some of the friends that I've made out here, they, cars don't always come up initially. And they're always kind of surprised of like how into it I am and how much I actually do know. I mean, newer cars, I'm not great on those, but definitely, you know, the old school JDM stuff is my niche for sure.
Yeah, I can totally dig that. Yeah, definitely. I bought a dually just recently. It's a 2018, and it's like if anything goes wrong with it, it's going straight to the dealer. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this.
There are some things that are not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I only bought it to tow. I'm like, I don't really like you. So, I mean, I love the truck, but it's like I definitely would not want to work on that thing. No way.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So, Ashley and Troy, how did you guys get into cars? Like, go way back when you were kids. Like, was that when it started?
It really kind of the same thing with Aryn. It was, when I grew up, my mom and dad watched NASCAR. And so we'd have the big Daytona 500 parties. And then from there, they started their own photography business, Photo Effects, and they were professional photographers for NASCAR. And then they were also the photographers for our semi-local track, Stockton 99 Speedway. So just being around it, every weekend, me and my sister, and growing up and having friends that race, friends that pit crewed for race car drivers. And it's just kind of evolved with me as, through my life. And then meeting Troy and him working on Datsuns and also in stock car racing, because that's where I know him from. And it's been a part of my life. It's not like I specifically went into one car scene or had friends that had a cool car that I wanted. It's just kind of evolved with me growing up.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. That's really cool.
I mean, Troy does all the wrenching on cars. I'll do some parts assembly, and I can pretty much name 90% of any part that's on a 510. A new car, give or take a little bit, but I'm not into it like that. I have a 510 now. I've had it for 10 years. 10 years, the second owner car, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just the Datsun thing is mainly from Troy. I had one friend in high school that had a 510. We got stuck in the snow, and I hated that car. It was cold, and it was not a good experience. So when I went to his shop for the first time, I'm like, how in the heck do you make a living working on this car? And it just kind of, I couldn't believe it. And even being in Fremont for as many years as he was, and then moving out here to Tracy, I even think that the shop has shifted gears more towards working on race cars, because before, Troy was doing a lot of stock car racing, and he had his B sedan 510 that he finished in 2005. But once we moved out here, I think it kind of took a turn more towards doing vintage stuff. And so he ended up, stopping the stock car racing and focusing more on that and that customer base. And then that kind of didn't give him so much of the competitiveness that he wanted. So then that's kind of what drove him and steered him, I think, to do SCCA and get that tube chassis.
Yeah, I've had a couple tube chassis cars now.
And so that's kind of been competitive, our little edge, instead of doing the stock car racing to, versus the B sedan. So it's a little different. Gives you something fun to still strive for, national championships.
Oh, yeah. How cool is that, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of.
For me, I grew up around drag racing. All my family drag raced when I was just a little kid.
I'm a big drag racer.
Yeah. So,
your mom drag raced too.
Yeah. Both my parents drag raced. My mom did a little bit. My dad's been doing it since 1972. And my brother also, he has a Top Sportsman. It's an ex-Jeg Coughlin carbon fiber Cavalier. He has a big, I think it's a 532. It runs low sevens, and he runs Top Sportsman in NHRA. And then I had an uncle that also drag raced. So I grew up drag racing, but for me, I was never really all that interested in 5, 7, 8, 9, 10-second runs. It just seemed like so much effort and so much preparation, and 2 time passes, and then hopefully you play your cards right. You don't go out first round, and so for me, it was just a lot of effort for very little track time. I will say I did run at Sacramento in my Bluebird for 1 season just for the fun of it, and I won the import.
That was so fun.
Yeah, I won the import track championship. In my right-hand drive.
It started out as fun, then became very competitive.
Yeah, I went out there just to goof off, and I ended up winning. I'm like, oh man.
We'd pull up in the trailer, and those guys were so mad. They're
Oh
like,
yeah.
here it comes, here it comes.
It was fun. There was only a little 4-race series. I runnered up twice and won 2, and I had to go 6 rounds. So there were a lot of cars, but I will say that at that level of racing, a lot of those guys didn't have a ton of experience. So it wasn't a few guys that had to race pretty hard, and a few guys, missing gears and having problems. But I really just kind of grew up around drag racing, and then it was kind of a strange situation where the very first sort of road car that I went in a ride in, that a guy was kind of showing me how to road race on the street, was a 240Z. And then he explained to me, hey, I said, man, this is a lot of fun. How do you get into this? And he just kind of pointed me towards SCCA. So I did SCCA for about 5 years. And then I really, really, really badly wanted to be a professional driver. And I didn't think I could do it road racing. I just didn't have the connections. And I thought, well, good old boys, how do they do it? They just start off running at the local circle track. And so I did that for 15 years, man. I ran, I didn't run the local circle track for 15 years. I did that for about 4 years. And then we traveled on the Southwest tour, and I did well. I had great sponsorship. But
That was fun.
the realization of not being 22 years old and your parents' endless pocketbook had passed. And so, concentrated on the business and then just really more focused back on road racing around 2010. And then I've been going at it pretty hard and having a great success. I think that's driven my vintage customer base. I've won a lot of races and a couple national championships, even in vintage. So it's pretty awesome. I can't remember. I think it's Ignite Performance in Colorado.
Yeah, they're right down the road from me.
Yeah, so I know TJ. I've sold those guys some parts. I've shipped them some transmissions. They run a special. I build a transmission that we take all the angle cut gears and synchros out of them. We do a straight cut dog ring box, and I've sold a couple of those transmissions to those guys over there.
Yeah,
I think we own one of those transmissions from TJ.
Oh, okay. Well, that's from me. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. I deal with TJ probably on a weekly basis.
Yep.
Yeah. We're always
The vintage 510 over there I'm thinking about picking up. I'm not sure. It's I got another couple months before the weather gets a little better before I have to commit one way or the other. But I'm thinking he's got I think it's a red 2-door over there. That's just a roller. He's been sent me some pictures we've been talking about, so I may end up with that. But yeah, so for me, basically cars from day one, from just the time I was a little kid. So
You started with Volkswagen.
So what steered you towards like the 510 end more than the Z cars and everything?
I'll be honest with you, it was total luck. This whole business, my whole business, the whole everything to do with 510s was completely lucky. I went to a SCCA road race before I had my license, and I just went to, basically it was just like a recon mission. I was going to go out there. I was like, hey, what kind of cars race? I don't know anything about road racing. I've been around drag racing my whole life. Let me go out here. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the early 80s when you could get, or I mean, early 90s when 510s were cheap and everybody still had them, there was a run group called ITC, which was Improved Touring Group C. And that group came out and there was at least 25 cars out there. I'm like, oh my God, I got to do that class. Is super competitive. Those cars are affordable. And I had found one. It's kind of a funny story, but at the time I just started flipping cars, and I had an old Auto Trader, and I was thumbing through this Auto Trader. I'm like, man, I remember seeing a 510 down here in San Luis Obispo. And there was one, it's about 2.5 hours south, 3 hours south of here. And the guy was so cool. He still had, it was like a 2-month-old Auto Trader. He said, hey, just, if you want it, you come and get it. And you just pay me when you can pay me.
Oh, really?
So, I couldn't even believe it. I think he wanted $2,500. I had $1,000. So I went down there. I scooped the car up. I brought it back. I had to finish it. It wasn't done. It was a total home-built roll cage that you had to notch and cut. And I had a friend of mine's dad welding it in there. And, it's a crazy story. And I didn't have a truck. I didn't have a trailer. So I would drive it to the racetrack. And I did that for like a season. And 2 seasons, I think. And then, I sent the guy like $500 the first year, and then like $500 the second year. It took me like, I spent all his money to go racing, but I did pay him off. And so it was just pure luck. I went to the track, I saw him, and I decided affordable. So it's not like that really so much anymore, but that's just how it happened. I just right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened with my Z too. I mean, I had wanted one forever. I had a friend of mine in Votech who had, I think, a 78, and I fell in love with them. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna own one of these cars one day. And I ended up with a 76 2+2 automatic rust bucket, and I couldn't stand that car. I mean, I had to get rid of it. But then I did find my car in a repair shop. The kid who owned it, him and his buddies were screwing around, and they forgot to put the oil feeder tube back on the cam, and ended up basically frying the head. And so that's what it was at the shop getting repaired for. And I told the guy who owned the shop, I said, if he ever wants to sell this thing, oh no, he won't sell it. His dad gave it to him. His dad's the original owner. And I kind of walked away defeated. And a couple of weeks later, he called me, the owner of the shop called me, he says, hey, that kid's selling that thing. And I said, well, okay, well, how much? And he says, $1,000. And I said, $1,000? I said, I'll take it. But same thing, like you said, I mean, I was 18. I just started working at the junkyard. I mean, I didn't have a pot to pee in, so the guy at the shop ended up buying it for me, and I made payments to him. For about 3 months or something like that. It was only $1,000.
Yeah.
But then
I feel like that's just how so many people get into 510s or Datsuns in general is just kind of. I mean, everybody's dad owned a Datsun. Like,
you can't drive anywhere. You go to a gas station. Hey, can I take a picture of your car? My mom had one. My cousin's brother, sister, family removed had one. I mean, everybody had one.
Oh, my dad had a B210 back in the day. That thing got
B210. That's the ticket one.
Yeah, that was the super economy version. I know. But yeah, it's like everybody's parent had one. They were the cheap economy cars back in the 70s, and they stayed cheap for a while. But I mean, and I get why they're getting so popular now, but it's crazy what people are asking for them now. Especially, I grew up with them, and knowing, what my dad paid for some of the cars. I mean, the 4-door that we still have, I think he bought it for $500 off the owner, and my mom drove that thing for 15, 20 years, or probably 10 to 15, but we still have it. And now people are offering us $5 to $10K for it, depending on the day and where we're at. It's just crazy. It's like, no, I'm never gonna sell this. Sorry. Too attached.
That's cool. Right on. So do you still have that Bluebird though, Troy?
Yeah. Sits in the garage under a cover. I haven't driven it in 2 years. Actually,
really? With the kitty bed on top.
Yeah. I have a kitty cat bed on it, and the cat door. My cat sleeps on the lid of it. I can't
take it for you.
Yeah. The problem is I'm so nervous. Like, even when I did drive it, if we would go, even if we just went like in and out or something, I had to park it right by the door. I would sit down so I could see it, and then she would go order. And it's like that everywhere. I can't take it. If it's out of sight, I'm just too paranoid. And those things have gone so crazy in the value.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't even know if anybody would, I'd have to get cased. Somebody'd have to follow me and then be prepared to try to steal it. But I think I'm just paranoid. So I don't want to lose it.
You can be paranoid about the weather. You don't want it to rain and get
that's
more
another reason.
We first started going out, and he wanted to show me this Bluebird so bad, and it was one of the only times he's ever cooked for me. We were at home, and he goes, "Hey, let's go over to Hollywood Video and go rent a movie." He goes, I know we're still eating, but we got to go now because it's going to rain, and if we're going to take the Bluebird, I don't want it getting wet. So we got in the car and went get back and eat. But that was cool. I was like, oh. The gas, it smells like gas in here.
It's a classic Datsun smell. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Datsun.
Yeah. If you're not driving your Datsun with your windows down, you're doing something wrong.
Some of the guys they're like, "Hey, you want to do the Canby run with us?" And we'll bring your Bluebird, bring your Datsun, we'll drive to. I'm like, no, we don't. No. We'll take our car. We'll meet you there.
Part of the problem is I have a pretty stout engine in there, and I run a Borla, single Borla exhaust. It's a straight through Borla muffler and 2.5-inch exhaust. So man, it is so loud on the freeway. And I got a 411 gear set in the thing. So it's just kind of singing. It's 3,600 at 70 miles an hour. And then after a while, you just, I don't know.
It's the drone.
It's
the
fun.
drone of it.
Yeah, the drone just drives me nuts. And then you hop in your new car and you're like, oh, it has a radio? Oh, I can hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this is amazing.
It's like, is it on? Is it really running?
Yeah.
Eventually, one of these days, maybe we'll redo it.
I'm going to for sure pull it out of the garage. I pulled the carburetors off of it. I need to pull the engine out of it.
Yeah.
It's got a couple of oil leaks, and I've tried to fix them, and I'm not going to fix it. Spit part of the, after I was drag racing it, I was turning a lot of RPM, and it spit part of the timing chain cover gasket out. So it just weeps there. And so I'm just tired of, it just makes a mess inside the engine bay. So that's one of the big reasons I haven't really driven it.
No, I get that.
Oil leak.
Yeah, I get that. And the drone thing too, I get that as well. My car's the same way. I got the big 2-inch exhaust, and I had this great idea to drive it up to, we have this little town, probably 50 or 60 miles from me. It's called Estes Park. And it's a beautiful little mountain town. I love this place. And they were having like a model train show, and my son really wanted to go. And I said, let's take the Z. Brilliant idea, right?
Yeah. And then
that thing drove me nuts. I mean, I got about halfway up that mountain, and I'm like, I was actually kind of seriously kind of worried that it was going to start knocking boulders off, you know?
I promise, my dad lived up that road, and even the Mustang's exhaust won't knock boulders off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard going out having a daughter with no car seat. I'm not putting a car seat.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not comfortable putting my little girl in that. In a 510, even if it had a car seat, I'm a little paranoid. 510s or even Z cars, man, half the time you're about the top of the wheel on most cars.
Oh, I know.
So large now. Yeah. You don't feel really all that safe. You got to be in a caravan at a car show deal with all your buddies. Everybody kind of has the same car. That's when I plan on taking it out.
I mean, last car show, I'm like, all right, Mom, you drive my car. I'll meet you there. And I took my 510. I'm like, you take Holly, and then I'll meet you there. So she's safe.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have like a 5-point harness in mine, but it still doesn't feel, and a door bar, there is a roll cage, a door bar there, but my God, I look over at my kid and he just looks so little in there. And then I'm looking out the window at the hubcap of an F350, and I'm like, oh man, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But you're right. Same thing. You don't want to drive the Bluebird because it's one of a kind. And granted, my Z's not one of a kind. I'm sure I could replace it, but I can't replace it. Not the one I've had for 26 years. Right. So, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, you get attached to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I grew up in a Datsun 510 wagon. Its name was Gatsby. It was charcoal gray after being repainted red, and then like 18 different colors. My dad had it for 25 years. I remember growing up, we daily drove that car to and from school all the time, and then the motor blew on it. He parked it for 2 or 3 years and then passed it off to my brother. And same thing, brother turned 16. My dad was like, hey, you rebuilt the motor. It's your car. And I remember, even as a kid, it was so rusty. There was a rust hole in the back hatch about yay big. And I remember looking over the back seat through the rust hole at the car behind us. Like, it's so unsafe, but that's what I grew up in. Like, and then, my brother drove it until I think we had an L20 in it. And I think, probably 7 or 8 years ago now, it was running on about 2 cylinders out of 4, and finally decided, okay, it's more rust than metal. The motor's junk at this point. So I drove it from where my brother was staying up north of Colorado down to my dad's shop, and I got pulled over because it was smoking so badly. The cop was like, are you sure you're okay to be driving? This is safe to drive? I'm like, well, the motor's not going to give out, but if anything, like the body panels might just start falling off. They're just, they're sturdy cars, but they're not that sturdy.
Yeah, they got their rest areas, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Do they ever?
Yeah, that's kind of a Datsun thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we used to get the Japanese takeout motors sometimes we'd order them when I worked at the junkyard. Somebody, be like, hey, I need a Celica engine. And I could find them overseas and they'd get shipped to us. And those things were like, it might have had maybe 60, 70,000 miles on it, but it was so rusty. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I hated taking those things apart and getting them all ready. So
yeah, big import out here in Oakland. They used to import them all the time. Tarco is one of them. There's 2 or 3 companies, and they would just have pallets and pallets of different Honda, Datsun, and Toyota engines, and they advertise them at 30,000 miles, and you could buy a running SSS for $795 with SSS carbs on it, or you could buy just a regular one was $495. Like this is like late 80s all the way through kind of the mid 90s, and they just had racks and racks of them, and they would put this little heat tab on the back of the head to avoid the warranty if you overheated it, and it would I didn't overheat it, but then the tab would be gone. Like, I'm afraid you overheated that, sir. There's no warranty.
That's awesome. I wish they still did that, those kinds of motors. My dad just consistently runs the L20s in most of their cars just because they're decent gas mileage, kind of bulletproof, but they're easy to work on. But I've always wanted to build something, like a SSS. When, especially since my Datsun, my wagon originally had one in it, and no longer. But if I could pick up a SSS for that price, I'd do it.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna do a giveaway thing here. We have an M2 Machines 1/24th scale Datsun 510.
Yes, and then. I think we're going to throw in a shirt and then a signed Lean Customs pin and a bandana.
I want it. How do I get in on this? All right, cool. So what do we have to do to get this? What's the contest? What do you guys think we should do?
So, good question.
Yeah.
Let's do what is Troy's favorite hobby to do besides racing? Does any of our watchers know the answer to that? Anybody watching know the answer to that question?
Tune in the Jeopardy music.
And I guess what we can do is the first person who can answer correctly will get that prize pack.
Oh. So we're going to look at the live comments then, right? Okay.
Yeah, let's go to the comments. So, okay, what is Troy's favorite hobby to do besides racing? Does anybody out there know? I see crickets. Maybe I will end up with it.
Maybe nobody wants to win. Come on.
I'll take the flag, but I feel like I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, and I actually don't know the answer to that question, so I'm excited to find out.
I just learned it earlier, so.
It's harder than racing cars.
Wait, it's not golf, is it? Oh shit! I don't
have a winner.
No.
Maybe we should come up with an easier question. I don't know because we're not getting much.
Who's that?
I don't know.
We got one guy.
We got one guy. It looks like
we got a winner.
We got a winner. Yep.
Oh, we do. Okay, great, excellent. So, okay, now we got. I guess the biggest that we have to figure out is how we're going to get a hold of this person.
This PE.
PE. You guys don't know this PE, do you?
Unfortunately, I do. Yeah. So it was an easy answer for him, but we might have sat here for a while for somebody guessed, so we'll take it.
Yes, he loves to golf. That's a leisurely activity. He can kind of turn his brain off, for racing in the shop and focus on golf and hang out with his friends.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, PE, if you're still listening, why don't you email us at GTGIRLZ Garage. That's GTGIRLZ Garage at gmail.com. Email us there with your name and address, and we'll get that package out to you.
Yeah. And then, he can just pick up the shirt at the shop.
I'll just hand him the other stuff when he comes out.
Okay. Well, we'll get that model 510 to him for sure that way. Or if you guys actually, we'll coordinate. We'll get it figured out.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
So what do
So
you
how
guys
long-
have planned for the next race season? What's coming up?
We have a race in 4 weeks, Button Willow and the 350Z. And then it's going to be really, really busy in April. We have a race the first weekend in April, and then the third and fourth weekends in April. So I have, I think I have 7 or 6 events in like 12 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Every other week. So we're really busy. And then it gets kind of hot and they shut everything down as far as track events in July and August.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a little more testing in the 350Z for the national championship. It'll be at Virginia this year. Last year, Indianapolis. Then this year will be in Virginia. So we'll get all loaded up. I have a tractor trailer that I tow my stuff in, and I usually get a couple customers in there. So I can tow the cars to the track. So, and it has a toter home on the back of it. So Holly and Ashley, we can make kind of a weekend out of it.
Yeah.
So, commute. I have a F-350 that I do some of the local stuff with, but if we're going to make a long trip, then I take the big truck. And so, yeah, we're just kind of gearing up for April. April's going to be big.
Busy.
That's awesome.
A lot.
Yep.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So in April, do you have a lot of traveling to do, or is it like all nearby?
We'll be all local.
Yeah.
Stuff's all going to be local. So first weekend in April, we'll be at Sonoma. Third week in April, we'll be at Sonoma. And then the fourth weekend, we'll be at Laguna Seca. And then I think we have 2 weeks off and we go back to Laguna. So,
Portland too.
and then,
That's in May.
yeah, then in May and April, or the May, I have one in the middle of May and one at the end of May. I'll be at Portland, and then I'm going to Seattle.
Yeah.
So I'll run a Pacific Raceways.
I'll be up by you guys. You should come out.
Yeah. I'll see if I can make the drive over. That'd be awesome.
Spokane's a bit of a drive. That take about 3 hours or so.
It's about 5 from
Oh.
Spokane to Seattle, but I do that drive pretty regularly over weekends. I've got friends out there, so
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I'm used to it. I don't mind driving.
Come out and say
It'd be
hi.
fun to go check that out. I mean, when I was down in California visiting my brother recently, he lives in Sacramento. We were going to go to Willow Spring for a drift event just to check out the track. I haven't seen it, and I've heard awesome things.
They have a big drift event there. Thunder Hill? Or,
Yeah, Thunder Hill, yeah.
Yeah, they're in Willows. Yeah, they got 2 big drift pads there. And they
Yeah.
do a lot of drifting there because we go there and run as well. And they always have,
Always something else.
there's always somebody on the drift pad. There's always somebody doing
That's
something.
about right. Yeah, no, we just wanted to go check it out. And, we've heard really great things about the track, but we ended up not being able to make it, but would have been cool.
Yeah. I'm excited to go to BIR this year for the SSC for the runoffs. That'll be awesome. So
Long trip, though,
Yeah,
all the way
long
across
trip,
the United
but-
States. But
Yeah.
that's
You
like
said
all
it
the
was in
tracks you
Virginia, right?
see.
what's that?
You said it's in Virginia, right?
Yeah, we're going to go all the way to Virginia. Last year, we went to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And I've done the Indianapolis trip a couple of times. I've gone to Texas twice, and we've been to Road America in Wisconsin twice. And I've been to New York to run Watkins Glen once. So we've made those trips. The only trips I haven't made yet that I really want to check off the list in the next couple of years, I want to make that run down and run at Charlotte and the Roval. I want to run Road Atlanta. Those are the 2 big
cool.
tracks, especially Road Atlanta. I want to make sure I get there.
So have you run, when you went down to Texas, did you run Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, I've run that, I think 4 times now.
That
Great
facility is
track.
awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
very cool.
I go down there every year for MotoGP racing.
Oh,
Which is awesome. But I've heard that the track, from what I've heard from Formula One and from MotoGP racers, is they are not maintaining the tarmac very well.
No,
So
it's rough.
if
The
you go
track-
back on there again anytime soon, beware.
Yeah, no, I was just there. I mean, we just ran there in November, and
Okay.
I heard this Formula One guy say the same thing. It's the track is rough, and
Yeah.
it was true. I was surprised. There's a lot of bumps. They had a bad problem there earlier in the year. Well, I think it was late summer. They had some bad flooding there. And I guess the ground is moving around, and they're getting a lot of wrinkles in the pavement. So there's certainly some bumps that I hadn't seen there the first 2 times. I think I've been there 3 times now.
Yeah, I would love to get on that track. It looks so awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so wide. You're like, you're kind of hunting around. You're like, oh, do I need to be left? Do I need to be right? It's
And the back straight. Oof.
It's fast. Yeah, my little 510 top speed there is 132 miles an hour.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fast. The facility there is super nice too. It's huge. They hold concerts in the tower. If you get a chance, have you gone up in the tower?
I have. I am not a fan of heights though, so that did not go well for me.
No.
You didn't like that glass
floor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
My daughter and I, when we were there, the first day we didn't get to go up, and then the second day they're like, if you're going to go up, you have to walk up the stairs because the elevator shut down. So and my little 3-year-old daughter, we hiked up all this. I mean, it was just exhausting. We're like, and she's running the whole time. I'm like, you got to hang on. Mommy's like tired. I get up there, we sit down because we're exhausted, and I look over and ding, the elevator doors open. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They found the key and they turned it on, and everybody up there is like looking at me like, yeah, the elevator's been working. I'm like, I just hiked this whole entire thing and the elevator was working. I was so mad. But it was so cool because you could see the whole track.
It is. It's a beautiful view. It's awesome up there. That glass floor was not my thing.
All right, guys.
You can bring over.
I got my little girl. We'll bring over to say hi real quick.
She's wanting daddy. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But that track is really nice. And they have, great. Some of the tracks you go to don't have, showers or hookups, and Texas has got it all. They even have like a little playground there. So it's really family friendly if you get a chance to go. And they always because normally our races are the weekend after, 2 weeks after the F1 event. Mm-hmm. So they still have all the tents and stuff put up. Yeah. And so you can kind of sneak into those areas. And if the weather's bad, because we've gone there one time, it was really humid. Last year when we went, it was really nice. We didn't have any bad weather or anything. So
yeah, they just rescheduled MotoGP from last year to this last November. And I was amazed. It was 90 degrees.
Oh my God.
October, I guess it was, not November, but it was just blistering hot.
Hot, humid. You're just like,
yeah, it was awful. I mean, it's the MotoGP sets up pretty well for facilities and tents and everything, but it's definitely not nearly as well done as F1, of course, because it just doesn't have the same turnout.
Right.
So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I do love that track, and God, if I ever got the chance to take a bike or a car out on that thing, it would be dream come true.
And you guys said that was at Texas Motor Speedway?
Yeah, Texas.
Coda. Like the Circuit of the Americas.
Circuit of the Americas. Yeah.
How cool would that be? Yeah, I think I've got a drag race at Texas Motor Speedway sometime this summer. I'm not sure. So.
It's okay.
Oh, look at this sweetheart. Who is this sweetheart?
Can you say your name?
No.
Okay. Okay, here you take her. That's Holly. You don't like that.
Oh, hey, I just got news that we have one more of those M2510s that we can give away. Yeah, we have one more. I'm thinking, why don't we ask, let's see, what is Ashley's dream car? Oh, look, there it is, right there. See?
That thing is cool. It's backwards. I got to point this way.
I know. We were doing that last week.
What's
so the first person who can ask or who can answer the question, what is Ashley's dream car, will get this wonderful.
And PE does not count, so don't answer that because he knows. My dream car. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I don't even know if I could answer
There's so many.
She wants to sit in my lap.
Oh, good.
There we go. Okay. All right, you gotta stay in my lap. You want to make a couch? Oh my gosh.
Holly has the cutest hair. I love this. Oh my gosh, this is
her hair from my mother-in-law, Marcia. Marcia has curly hair. Not so much now as Marcia's gotten older. It's kind of straightened out a little bit, but Holly got her curly hair from her. So, and her blue eyes from Daddy, huh?
That's so cute. Oh my gosh, she is so cute. Oh.
Yeah, she's gonna be 4 in April.
Very cool.
Let's see. Nobody's answered.
Nobody's answering.
Oh my gosh, nobody wants a diecast car.
Right?
No, you cannot touch any buttons on the computer. She loves to race. I told Troy he wants her to play golf. She wants to go fast. So
Put her in the junior dragsters.
Oh my gosh. So, she'll get in the car. I want to go faster. And in the shopping cart, go faster. And push her around the corner. People look at us like we're crazy. Huh?
Get me started early.
You want to go fast?
No.
Oh no. Okay. She's camera shy. You camera shy?
No,
It's okay.
I'm Holly.
You're Holly. Okay. You're Holly. Huh? Start guessing. No one's guessing.
I don't like this one, Mommy.
Okay.
Mommy, can I change it,
No,
Mommy?
I can't change it.
Does Holly know what your dream car would be?
Holly knows what Daddy's dream car would be, but you know what Mommy's dream car is? Do you want me to say? Nobody's guessed.
I guess we can maybe keep it for the next time. I don't know.
We'll raffle it off for the next time since nobody's guessing.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, no, my dream car it'd be an Audi R8. That's what
Really?
I want. Yeah.
Right.
I think if I won the lottery and they're like, okay, you can only buy one car, that'd probably be the car I'd buy. Troy would be Hakosuka for sure.
Yeah, same. Hakasukas.
Yeah.
Dream car. Someday I will own one.
Yeah.
Then my dad will probably
I think that'd be the only way Troy would sell his Bluebird is if we could get a Hako.
Yeah.
Wow. He would sell the Bluebird for that though, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Wow.
would sell the NSX for one.
NSX. I like the NSX. They're cool too.
They're fun. Yeah, they're fun. And my dad was looking at getting one of the new ones when they were first starting to come out. But
Yeah.
it's like between that and a GTR, and it's just like,
GTR's fun.
it'd be cool to have the new NSX and the old one.
Oh yeah.
That's why a lot of people, I think a couple of customers that have Z cars, like, oh, we got to get the new Z that's coming out because you got the new one and then you have the old one.
Yeah.
So,
It'd be fun.
yeah.
I don't have that kind of money though, so Dad's got to do it.
I wish they would do the 510. They started to and did kind of like a retro rendering of it, and it kind of never went anywhere. But I think that
Well,
would
I
be.
think they from what I remember, they did, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something. They
Yeah, it was
started
been a while.
they started doing the 510 reboot, but they only released them into like Russia, India, like a couple of different countries, kind of test the market. And then I never heard anything about it ever since.
I
so
know.
don't think it went
We
over
did. That'd be
well.
super awesome.
Yeah.
I'd
I
have
mean,
one.
just another basic economy car, good gas mileage that looks cool and it's
Yeah.
not a Honda Civic would be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
R33 GTR. I was reading the comments to see if anybody said anything. No.
Oh, R33 GTR. Yeah, I saw that. That would be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
R33, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Where did Troy go? Is he occupied?
I'm making him go feed the dog with the daughter.
Gotcha.
She's a little noisy. Sorry, I don't want to mess up your mics.
Oh no, it's totally fine. Love kids. Kids are great.
It's a lot of work. I'm telling you, I just envy these moms that have multiple kids because I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's because I'm, home and doing the business. I'm like, but some of these women are going to school full time. They have multiple kids. They're running their own at home businesses. I'm like, I don't have patience for that. One is good.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I've got one myself. I've got two of them, but I've got one in school, and it is hard, especially.
It's hard.
Well, it's like, especially when we have to take time off, for them, like they just got back from Christmas vacation, and that was, 2 weeks of me not being able to be in the shop because he doesn't want to be in there, and
Right.
I'm not getting a whole lot done. So I tell him, okay, I'm gonna put a movie on, and then I'm going out to the shop.
Yeah, and at least Holly's been really good. From the beginning, I would take her when we had to tow and go pick up a car, or she has to be out in the shop with me, and she's luckily still naps quite a bit, so I can sneak out there during the day. But I have a little office here set up in the house, so I can do all the billing and invoicing and estimates and things like that, prior to her going to take a nap. But she's just follows along, just super easy. So I am thankful for that. And she likes being in the shop with Dad. So that's helpful.
Yeah. That's cool. That's good. Yeah, mine hates being in the shop. I don't know why. He used to, it was really funny. I brought a 71 240Z in about 3 weeks ago, and this thing, it didn't run, obviously, and I don't think it had brakes. That's right. It didn't have brakes. So my kid, he's 8.5 years old. I said, but I really need help unloading this thing off the trailer. Can you help me? And he's like, I don't know. So I told him, I said, you run the winch. I said, I'm going to pull it off with the tractor from behind. And then you just run the winch and just try to keep pressure on the winch so that it doesn't roll off of the trailer and hit the tractor. So he did. I mean, at first he was like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I said, you can do it. You can do it. He finally we got the car off the trailer. And I said, you did a fantastic job. And then he was like, when can we start taking it apart?
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know. Not this week.
Ollie's favorite thing is to push the cars in at the end of the night. If she can help push, that's what she wants to do.
Oh, cute.
I want to push. We're like, okay, well, be careful.
That's awesome.
Some of them do nice paint jobs. But yeah, she's helpful.
That's cool. That's cool. I wish mine was a little more helpful, but I think he's just kind of not really into it yet. Although when we did get it in the shop, I told him I had sold the license plate light off of it. And I said, well, we have to pull that. That's the one thing we have to get off.
There you go.
I mean, it was easy. You know how it is too.
Something to do.
Yeah.
Troy will take the wheels off, and then she's sitting there with her little fingers and trying to do the little lug nuts and off and on. So she'll take like a big like crescent wrench, and she's just trying to get it, on the little lug nut. So anything she can do to be helpful. And you got to start somewhere. But she'll tell you. You point to, you say, "What's that?" She'll say, "An engine. That's a radiator. That's a carburetor." So she does know a couple of her parts.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So
well, I think we've kind of gone past our time here a little bit. Maybe we should wrap it up, huh?
A little bit, huh?
Hey, it was fun though. I mean, I had a really good time. And it was really great to meet you, Ashley. This is really cool. I mean,
having us.
Aryn, I've known Aryn for years, but not really. I know we're bad.
And anytime you can get to connect with other women in the auto industry is awesome. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it's so cool to be able to have this show and have you guys on it, and even for coming on and learning how everybody gets into where we're at. It's awesome.
I know, yeah, and hopefully things, we can just motivate and inspire the future generations to continue to do what we do, and pray that they still want to restore cars and race. And
well, I know one kid will. Holly will. So
Holly, you will see her in a car. Yes, Holly will.
Do you guys sell 510 parts, Ashley? Like if somebody's looking for something off of a 510, do you sell them?
Yep.
Have them?
Yep, it's Troy Ermish Incorporated, or some people know it as Datsun 510 Parts Outlet, but we sell pretty much everything you need. We do full restorations. We have suspension, brake kits, engine, transmission combinations. You need a drive shaft, wheel bearings, wheel studs. I could keep going,
Oh, excellent. So do you have a website?
Yes, it's ermishracing.com. Ermish and then the little dash racing.com.
Cool. Excellent. That's really good to know. So, so if anybody needs 510 parts or anything really for their 510, that's probably the place to go for sure.
Yeah, Troy's developed all kinds of front coilover kits, and we have our stop check brake kit, and you've got stock suspension if you need it. So that's what I do. I do all the parts assembly and get it boxed up and sent out to the customer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, ladies, it was definitely a pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we got cops.
That happens all the time. I don't know.
What was that? I'm like, are we done?
It's kind of our warning to like, wrap up. It's time to go.
Yeah. It's like, whoa.
Surprise.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. All right. See you later.
See you later. And let's see. I just want to wish thank our sponsors again, Donuts and Wheels, Zociety, and Grip Rad, and Sinister Motorsports. Of course, we want to say thank you so much for helping us out here. We love you guys are on board. Hope you guys like the show. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. Same time, same place.
And if you have time, come up when we're racing in May in Washington. Yeah. We'd love to see you.
Cool.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys. Good night.
Thanks.
Where's my button? There it is.
Mommy.